Namaskarams to all. Welcome to Clyde Samvada, brought to you by the Hindu Temple of Scotland. You know that we have kind of had a bit of a break in terms of Clyde Samvada, and we are restarting Clyde Samvada Season 2, and this is one of those episodes from the Season 2. Couple of weeks ago, we had a chat about how Hinduism traveled towards the East Asian part. In that series, we want to go deeper into the temple of Angkor Wat. Recently, Dr. Srihari has been on a Cycle Yatra around Vietnam and Cambodia. So we thought it's a good opportunity to draw on from him the experience that he had while going through the Cycle Yatra around these temples, and also get a bit of perspective about the history around the Angkor Wat temple itself. So welcome Srihari to Clyde Samvada. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you very much, Sreevas. It's nice to be back in autumn and cold Scotland from the heat of Vietnam and Cambodia. So yes, thank you very much. Thank you for asking me to come this morning to talk to you about my experiences. When it was built, Angkor Wat, after it was built, it was called Maha Vishnu Loka. And my Cycle Yatra was to experience the Maha Vishnu Loka. We all know its ruins now, but I just wanted to experience what it was to go there. So I like cycling, that's what I do. So I took a challenge to get myself from the Cu Chi tunnels in Vietnam to Angkor Wat. So the Cycle Yatra was a 5-day cycle tour, which will end on the concourse of Angkor Wat temple. So for me it was a challenge, but for me as a practicing Hindu it was also a pilgrimage. Even though I know it's not a place of active worship, but it is still Maha Vishnu Loka, and I wanted to see that.
Nice. So if I understand right, Angkor Wat is the biggest Hindu temple globally, right?
Absolutely.
At about 400 acres, and the Vatican, if I remember, is more like 100 acres. So this is almost 4 times the size of Vatican City.
I can't give you the exact comparison of the measurements between the two, but as things stand, it is still the largest temple complex in the
and the most interesting part is that temple complex is not in India. It's in Cambodia, right? So that's part of the history of how Hinduism went there and the influence there.
And what is absolutely fascinating, mind-blowing and unimaginable is what was achieved in the 11th century.
Yeah. This was between 1113 and 1150, something like that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was achieved in the 11th century, and it's an absolute piece of beauty, absolutely inspirational, and it's nice that we are having a chat about it.
That. Yeah.
I hope you get to visit it, and I hope I go to visit it again, and lots of our viewers go and get to visit it and experience it firsthand.
Yeah. So maybe we kind of take a step back and start at the Cycle Yatra. So before reaching Angkor Wat, you said you started in Vietnam. So what all did you see on the way in terms of temples, be it Hindu temples or Buddhist monasteries?
So this was a cycle challenge, and the first part of it was really not focusing on the temples as such, but having said that, the hotel where we stayed in Ho Chi Minh City, right next to it on the street there was an Amman temple. And I did not actually go in and have darshana, but I did pass in front of the Amman temple, and I offered my prayers, but this was all while we were transferring from Ho Chi Minh City to the Cu Chi channels. I did not find any art or architecture that I came across while cycling through Vietnam, but I saw lots of rice fields. Vietnam is amongst the largest producers of rice in the world, and as I was going through Vietnam, not just Vietnam, even through Cambodia, Annapurna was constantly giving me darshana. This was the cycle ride was not through cities. It was a very immersive experience, going through village after village, stopping at schools, talking to children, mainly in Cambodia and less so in Vietnam. And when we go into our villages, we do have certain motifs that are displayed outside our house. And the belief is they ward off the evil. and they protect the house and the householders from the evil eye. Very interesting. Most of Vietnam, you have the house and you have the compound wall and there's a gate, and on either side of the gate there are two dogs, pictures of two dogs.
Okay.
And they're all exactly the same dog.
Okay.
Or more or less the same dog. There are some lion statues I've seen, but house after house after house, village after village, it was the same two dogs. on either side of the gate, guarding and protecting against evil eye. That was Vietnam.
Okay.
And so it was a land crossing that we did from Vietnam to Cambodia. And what's interesting is the first thing that you notice as soon as you do the land crossing from Vietnam into Cambodia, the motif on top of the houses, it almost looks like the kalasha or a variant of that.
Okay. Part of the kalasha.
The top, just the very top part of the kalasha. It looks like that. And that is a feature that I've seen across everywhere that I've cycled
Cambodia
in Cambodia.
houses.
Cambodia.
The outside the house.
Houses, office buildings, places, temples obviously.
So was it just like the welcome sort of a sign? No,
it was on top of, it was almost like an artwork.
Okay.
I tried my best to ask the guides, I asked local people what it is called, but I just could not get the
exact
name
meaning
for it. But that is something that was very, very unique. So changing from these the statues of these two dogs guarding the house
to going into that,
to cross the country, and you notice this.
Okay.
The second thing, this is equally interesting, is Vietnam had a lot of French influence.
Okay.
So when you read the boards, it's all written in, the script is, the alphabet is more or less English, but even though I have no idea what's written there.
Okay.
But the minute you cross the border and get into Cambodia, you start recognizing, even though I could not read it, but I could relate to the script, I could understand, not understand, that's the wrong thing to say. I could recognize the script, and interestingly, that script is derived from Devanagari.
Okay.
So Cambodia's script is derived from Devanagari.
Okay.
The words mean completely different, or they mean different, or they have changed in the usage, but they managed to retain the script, and the script is Devanagari, Sanskrit based.
Okay.
That was interesting.
Nice. And so you had couple of days in Vietnam and then couple of days in Cambodia leading up to Angkor Wat. So did you visit any specific temples other than Angkor Wat?
We went to two Buddhist temples. In fact, one of the places we stayed for packed lunch was in a Buddhist temple. That's where we all went together. It was 18 of us who did it through a company. Okay. And we actually went into one of the Buddhist temples and used one of their sheds to have lunch. And as a part of going through Cambodia, Buddhism is very strong in Cambodia. And we stopped at Buddhist temples, and I offered my prayers and respect, and I admired the beauty and architecture of it. And we stopped. In fact, there was a couple of places where people let us use their house to take rest from the sun.
Okay.
And that was very nice of them to welcome and open up their house.
Okay.
And it's very interesting the way the houses are built. You could call it flood protection or at height, but there would be wooden pillars, and then the house dwelling is on the top. And what some of the local villagers said is people don't like to take a nap in the afternoon because they think that is not that right thing to do, and they all come down and sit in the shade of the house, in a sense, and spend time there. So that was an interesting architecture that I've seen throughout Cambodia.
Okay.
Specifically, in terms of the temples, Siem Reap, that is the region of Cambodia.
Okay.
Siem Reap, that is where the Angkor Wat temple complex is built.
Okay.
So if you are going to Cambodia is a big-ish country. But if you would wish to go and spend time specifically looking at the temple architecture and the archaeology, and experience the ancient Hinduism and the relation between Hinduism and Buddhism, then the region you go to is Siem Reap.
Okay.
So that is where Angkor Wat temple is, and there are other temples.
Okay.
39 temples.
39 temples.
39 temples that we know of so far.
Okay.
In the Siem Reap area.
Okay.
39 temples.
Okay.
I obviously did not have time
to
look
go
at
all of them.
39.
Yeah.
If you are planning on a visit, then there are 9 temples that are considered amongst the most popular temples or the most recommended temples to visit. And I went to the top 2.
Okay.
Top 1 is obviously
Angkor Wat
Angkor Wat.
itself.
It has to be Angkor Wat. And Ta Prohm temple.
Ta Prohm.
Ta, T-A,
Okay.
P-R-O,
HM.
H-M, Ta Prohm
okay.
temple. I went to Ta Prohm temple as well.
What is the main murti there?
So it's now Buddhist.
Okay.
It's now Buddhist. But when it was built, most of these temples had Hindu, but mainly Vishnu. Speaking about Vishnu, it's very interesting. We only hear about Vishnu, but in Cambodia, when the temples were built, there were Shiva temples as well. And this fact surprised me. Shiva temples were all built on a hill, and Vishnu temples were all at sea level.
Okay.
And that was very, very interesting to know, because if you look at the temples that we have here, there's quite a lot of Vishnu-based temples that are on the hill.
Yeah, Tirupati types.
And Simhachalam. There's quite a lot of Vishnu temples that are on the hill. And there's quite a lot of Shiva temples at sea level.
Okay.
But in Cambodia, I thought that was interesting that there was more Shiva temples on a hill.
Okay.
And Vishnu at sea level.
Okay, that's interesting. And like something which I've kind of heard or read from the historians is unlike the idol shape and form that we have of Vishnu in India, especially during the Khmer dynasty, which is the dynasty that built Angkor Wat, there was very often the personification of the king in the Vishnu's form. So people who kind of have documented the shape and the form have kind of said that. Like, did you kind of recognize that in some of these?
So it's a fact.
Okay.
It's a fact. Not necessarily for the Vishnu Murti that was living and was prayed. So let's use the Ta Prohm as an example.
Okay.
Are you a fan of Angelina Jolie?
Yeah, the movie was the Tomb Raider, something like it was shot there, right? Yeah.
So Ta Prohm temple is the name of the temple.
Okay.
But because Angelina Jolie went and filmed her Tomb Raider in that temple, quite a lot of people come and visit that and call it the Tomb Raider temple.
Okay.
Which I felt a bit sad. I felt a bit sad, but that is how most people recognize it as.
Okay.
Right? Forget the Angelina Jolie thing, forget about the Tomb Raider thing. Can you imagine, just imagine, a tree growing on a temple? Can you imagine how it looks like? A tree growing on a temple.
Okay.
That is Ta Prohm temple.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just a tree, there are lots of trees growing on the temple.
Okay.
That leads you to ask 2 questions. How strong did they build it? That a tree can grow on it and it is still standing.
Okay.
The only bits that have fallen, or most of the bits that have fallen, is because of destruction.
Okay.
But when it was built so
very,
strong.
very strong. And both these temples are the Khmer dynasty temples. Okay, maybe we kind of go into that a bit, because I think their story is very integral to how it became these, right?
Yes. So coming back to the question that you asked earlier about the Vigraha and the features of the Vigraha. So after there's a death in the royal family, say the king's mother, the face of the king's mum was carved into one of the Vigrahas.
Okay.
So that's how that thing has come. So that's a fact.
So it's a fact, yeah.
That is a fact.
Yeah. So you can kind of see it, like when you see the Vigraha, you can feel it's sort of like a person being,
And this is again quite unique about Angkor Wat or the temples in that area. In the Hindu temples, we do not have memorials, or we don't have tombs or any relics of the dead. We don't have that in the Hinduism and the temples in India.
In the Indian version of it.
But on Angkor Wat, you have these.
Yeah.
So that is one of the unique things, the differences between the temple there
and here. Nice.
And you can see the faces carved, and these are ruins. We are not talking about, so please don't think that when you go, you look at a pristinely maintained, beautifully presented places. What you see is ruins, and in the ruins you start noticing what it would have been in the past. And in the middle there are trees growing out of it. So you have to navigate your way through all this. But there are still motifs around, and you will see Vigraha. And the guides will tell you that there were gems here, there were decorative items here, there was things of quite a high value, and they were all
taken away,
or taken away.
Yeah.
So, and there are also lots of images which have been defaced, and when it comes to defacing, the defacing happened as an act of whoever was more predominant, whether it was the Hindus that were more predominant or the Buddhists that were predominant. But the destruction happened on the basis of what we should follow. I'm not saying the Hindus have specifically done it or the Buddhists have done it, but humans, we people did it in the name of the religion, and you see, unfortunately, you see evidence of that. And it's sad when you go and see that. But
and there's a strong rivalry, I think, between the Indonesian kings, which at that point of time were maybe the Thai kings, and the Cambodian kings, right?
Yes, let's not go into that. It's there is still an active ongoing issue between Cambodia and Thailand, and the issue stems down to exactly from these ones. Let's not go into that. But it is good to know that whatever happened in the 11th
has some manifestation of that even today.
As recently as few months ago. Recently as few months ago, from 11th century to here. Very, very good. But maybe we should just
fair enough. And just going into the architecture itself of Angkor Wat, of whatever remains in the ruins, any specific aspects that struck out for you?
So let's very quickly wind up on the Ta Prohm temple. The local villagers and the local people from Siem Reap incredibly thankful to UNESCO.
Okay.
Because UNESCO is planning on restoring or has started to undertake projects to restore some of the temples, and Ta Prohm temple is one of those that's restored. There's a beautiful large image of a face that is being restored. There are parts of the temple that are being restored, and guess who's restoring them?
UNESCO.
Government of India.
Oh, okay.
But it is UNESCO, yes. But the knowledge, the skill, the research, and the archaeology and all that is, the support is provided by the government of India. And the guides, the local people, they are very, very grateful for the UNESCO for picking it up, the UNESCO for picking it up, and to the Indian government. And they give quite a lot of gratitude and thanks in their speeches, saying this is what's happening, these are getting restored, and people like you, tourists, are coming and seeing, and we are able to thrive and survive because of that. I believe quite a lot of region, most of Siem Reap makes its income through tourism from Angkor Wat, and you can imagine what happened to that area during COVID. Zero. Absolutely.
I think like for those who have not listened to our previous episode, that previous episode kind of talks about that story of how it went from India to these regions. So if you haven't caught it, do watch the previous episode where we talked about that. Okay, so going from Ta Prohm to next.
Okay, so from Ta Prohm we go to Angkor Wat. So that is where our Cycle Yatra ended.
Okay.
So that was the finish line. It's quite difficult to explain. It's very difficult for me to explain the feeling when I reached there.
Okay.
As far as the eye could see, that is what I would say. As I was cycling towards the finish point, the first thing that I would see is you're going through gates, and then you pass through the gates. Oh, this is where we are here. I'll be seeing it. No, I'm still cycling.
Okay.
Where is it? I'm still not seeing it, because I'm expecting a very big complex, and no, I'm still not seeing it. And then a huge water body comes. So where is this water body? I'm still cycling along this water body, and then you see a causeway, and that's where the finish line was. And it took me a moment to realize that from this road, for me to go to Angkor Wat temple, I have to go across a causeway.
Okay.
So there is water all around.
Okay.
And you have to go through a causeway. There's two ways. One is for the commoners, and there's one for the royals. That's how it was built. And can you ever imagine walking through a causeway to go to a temple? That's what you need to do. Okay. Now here's an interesting factoid. The talk, what's said is Hindu king married a Naga queen.
Okay.
So the art that you see as you're at the causeway, or if you're crossing any very, very old bridges in Cambodia, the art and the architecture you see the face of a lion, which we recognize instantly.
Yes.
But there's also a Naga, and I've got photos of it. I'll share them with you. There's also a face of a Naga. So you see the lion and the Naga at these entrances to various big things, depicting the union that happened between the Naga queen and the Hindu king.
Okay.
So you will find
that's sort of like symbolically very clearly depicted. Okay.
Yes. And as we cross as you walk across the causeway, and the causeway is now obviously extended a bit for tourists to see, but you would also see the old causeway that was built that long ago, and the stones that were used. So a quick chat about the stones. All most of the temple is built of lava stone, and the perimeter is made of sandstone.
Okay.
And the stones were obtained from a quarry about 50 or 60 kilometers away from Angkor Wat. So here's something you need to imagine. 11th century, how did you get those many big stones from a place that far to here and to build Angkor Wat? And remember, there is no concrete. There is absolutely the concrete was not there at that time. So this is all architecture, boulders placed on top of each other to get
elephants.
Construction. It's said nearly 6,000 elephants were used when Angkor Wat was built. 6,000 elephants.
Okay, very similar to like the Brihadeshwara type story. Right? Brihadeshwara, I mean, I don't know how many elephants, but there again it was like like the fact that it kind of had to take it that high.
Exactly. 6,000 elephants and about 30,000 people working on it. And
almost 37 years, right? Because 1113 to 1150. So
I think it was built. So the whole complex was built over a century.
Multiple centuries.
But the king who was ruling took an active interest in building certain parts, and then they also built temples in memory of their mom or dad or for themselves.
Yes.
So that's how all these temples sprue up. So you walk through the causeway, and then you get it to one platform, and from there you go to the next platform, and from there you go to the third platform. And the steps are so steep. You get you definitely head spins as you're coming down. The head spins because you're literally in that angle. But you have to hold the railings very carefully. It's safe, but if the railings are not there, I would be really struggling. There is Vigraha of Vishnu, and prayers are offered to that. I did go and offer my prayers. And if you ask me what is the current day description of the Vigraha, the closest I would think is Dhanvantari. The closest I would think is Dhanvantari. Dhanvantari is a kalasha that he's holding, but here Vishnu is holding a globe in his hand. There is Shanku, Chakra and Gada, but he's also holding the globe instead of the kalasha. So that is the closest I would describe. I've got a photo of that. I'll share that with you. So prayers are offered, and what I've been led to believe is this was the original Vishnu statue, which has been desecrated and reconstructed, desecrated, reconstructed, and it's not within the sanctum sanctorum anymore, but it is in this special place, and you offer prayers. Prayers are still actively offered to this Vigraha. It's huge. You have to see him like that.
That's a tall statue.
Very tall statue. And there is also a place where prayers are offered to Buddha. And I saw a priest there offering prayers to Buddha, and I offered my prayers there as well. So there's both Buddha and Vishnu in the same complex, and prayers are offered to both of them. And as you're walking through the corridors, you'd obviously see a beautifully designed pillars, very beautifully designed, and again you have to think
carvings of Vishnu, Shiva, things like that.
So there are carvings. There is lotuses. And when it comes to lotus, we talk about kalasha. When we talk about kalasha, the tip of it, we think of that as that of a coconut, isn't it? That's what we say. In Cambodia, people say that it looks like a lotus bud. And you can see the similarities. Instantly you can see the similarities. So they relate to lotus bud, we relate to the coconut top kalasha. So it's the lotus bud that they
have in the garments.
And the one name that keeps coming as you're walking through the corridors is Apsaras. And So everywhere you go, the guide would show you, oh, there's another Apsara there, there's an Apsara here. And from what I know, quite a lot of these Apsara have different hairstyles.
Okay.
And there are 2,000 of them.
Okay.
So imagine the number of hairstyles. And so these are all celestial dancers. And that is, so there's quite a lot of Apsara carvings throughout the entire temple. And there's also some of the wood that was used in the lintels, and it has got decorations on it, carved on it. I think I've taken a photograph of that. I'll show it to you. And any temple has stories of glory of Hinduism. Every temple has it. Angkor Wat also has it. When we go to a temple, we often go clockwise, don't we? That's how you go.
Yes.
But Angkor Wat, for some reason, if you're traveling, the recommendation is you go anti-clockwise in terms of if you are to view the gallery. So the word that everyone uses is gallery. Let's use the word gallery.
Okay.
Because that is the word that, if I'm talking to a Western,
yes,
the word that comes out is gallery.
Okay.
So it is recommended to go in the
anti-clockwise. Oh, that's surprising. Okay.
But then it's not a place of worship.
Worship.
So
So it's just more like you're touring in one way.
So for some reason, almost everyone recommends starting from the west.
Okay.
And then make your way around and come. So, but at the end of the day, you're watching the carvings on a gallery.
Yes.
What carvings would you expect? Let's say
Vishnu,
what carving? Vishnu, Shiva.
Yeah. Maybe Muruga. I don't know how much it went.
So the carvings, it has stories of
Ramayana,
Shiva.
maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
It has Mahabharata.
Okay.
So there is stories of Krishna, and there is Rama from Ramayana. You guessed it absolutely right. And interestingly, Indra and Airavata, and also Yama.
Okay.
I've never come across Yama stories being
carved
told in a temple, but Yama. So what they have is a gallery where Yama is judging who goes where.
Okay.
And some people are going to the heaven and some are going to the hell.
Okay.
And then those who are going to the hell, there is a description of the Vaikunta river,
okay,
where the workers of Yama try to pick all these souls in the hell.
So those stories are depicted.
So that's the Yama and the story. And the Krishna stories, there is Govardhana Parvata and Kalinda Mardana. And Vishnu stories, you see Sagara Mantana, and you see a very good picture of carving of the Kurma Avatara.
Okay.
And the Vasuki. And interestingly, there is a Hanuman right at the back of the Devatas holding it, encouraging them to work harder.
Okay.
So that's in there.
Okay.
And there is a story of Mahabharata fight. That's in there. Ramayana, there is the Vada of Vali.
Okay.
I do not know why Vada Mali made it to that.
I think Sugriva somewhere, I don't remember exactly, but somewhere was the talk of Cambodia in Sugriva's story, right? So yes. I think it's something to do with that.
Yeah, we'll come to that in a second. Absolutely true. Maybe we'll go from 11th century to Treta Yuga in a second. But so there is the killing of Vali carved from the Ramayana, and there's one entire gallery showing the war, the fight between Rama and Ravana. And it's very, you can very obviously pick up Ravana. And the way Ravana's 10 heads are shown is not in that direction, but in that direction.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, that's, yes. I think I'm probably seeing it for the first time. Always you kind of had this.
This is the second time I'm seeing. The first time I saw was in the movie Mahapurush that came, the Bollywood movie that came a few months ago. That was the first time ever I saw, and I laughed at it. You know, whoever shows Ravana's face like that. But in the in Angkor Wat, that's how it is shown. His Ravana's head, and Rama. So, you know, it was not the last fight that was depicted, the last fight where Ravana dies. That's not what's depicted, because what we know is in the last fight when Ravana was killed, Rama was on a Ratha. But until then, Rama and Lakshmana were foot soldiers.
Okay.
So in this, the fight that they've shown, Rama is on the shoulders of Hanuman. So Hanuman is actually carrying Rama and Rama is fighting. So that tells me that was not the final fight scene. Because the final fight, Rama was actually on a Ratha. So That was very interesting observation. You can pick them up, saying, "Oh, there's." But I was so mesmerized looking at this gallery, Srihari. I spent a lot of time. I actually held my group back because they couldn't believe I was not moving out from there. And got a great photo of some of my colleagues, my friends who took a photograph of me completely immersed reading that gallery. So I just wanted to see how long it is, okay, just to get a perspective. And I'll show that video to you. I switched the video and I walked along the entire gallery, and guess how long it took me to get from one end to the other end? 56 seconds.
Okay.
Walking at a medium pace.
Okay.
Right? So imagine the length of time, imagine the distance you travel if you are walking 56 seconds. And that is the length of the gallery depicting the war between Rama and Ravana and all the characters in there.
Okay.
And this was all done in the 11th century.
Oh, this was from there. Oh, this was not modern. Oh,
No,
okay.
not modern.
Oh,
This is all done there.
Okay. I thought when you said gallery, I thought like a contemporary one.
No,
okay,
no. Gallery is how it's called now.
Okay.
So, we won't call it as gallery, we would call it Antapura wall or Devalaya wall.
Yeah.
But no.
Okay. So this is all in the stone or
Stone.
in stone?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all carved, and it took me that long to walk from one to another.
Nice.
Absolutely mesmerizing, beautiful experience.
Super. I think that was. Thanks so much for sharing those
No
very
problem at
deepful,
all.
insightful one on Angkor Wat. And for those viewers who are seeing this episode first, we have done a separate episode talking about how Hinduism has gone to the East Asia. So catch that to sort of know the backstory behind how Hinduism reached there, the Treta Yuga story, all of that in the other episode.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining in Srihari, and Namaskaram.
Thank you very much for listening to my story.